everyone. Welcome to Frame Rate, the show where we rate frames. Abe Epperson, Michael Swaim. Rhymes. It's short and then you're in it. That's what's great about it. And I just want to say how excited I am for this episode because I think everyone except me has core childhood memories around this movie that I am like, yeah, that was a movie. That was cool. But talking about it a bit before taping, I'm like, everyone else is like, no, dude, no, listen up. So if that's you and you saw the title Ernest Scared Stupid and were like, aren't these the guys that did all the Coen brothers and all the P.T. Anderson movies? Why are they doing Ernest Scared Stupid? Hopefully there's reasons because I'm as baffled as you are. So here to explain why we're talking about Ernest Scared Stupid are some of the best guests around the block or anywhere. The brothers Gordh, Daniel, Vincent, and Will. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. What an introduction. I feel like I have to be among the best guests in the history of podcasts. And luckily that doesn't intimidate me at all. I'm ready.
and I want to apologize for people listening to this because Daniel, Vincent, Gordh, and I, Will Gordh, are brothers, as you might be able to tell from the last name. And sometimes people have trouble figuring out who's talking because we kind of sound similar. So if you want to just think of us as one person, you can.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. And if you hear like a little bit of a more gay kind of tonality or perspective coming out, that's probably me, Daniel. If you hear kind of, the more civilian, straight POV come out, that's from
you heard it here. Do you need
cishet.
No, that gays are not citizens.
That actually doesn't work because that's how people tell Abe and I apart already.
Damn.
Yeah, it's already split there. But yeah, well, it doesn't matter because we're just four white men discussing a film and therefore represent all podcasting as a monolith. But before we do dive into Ernest Scared Stupid, which was on our list, but I believe was a Gordh Brothers pick for reasons. We also threw it out because it vibed well with a recent project you guys put out that I'm just in love with, which is about Freddy Krueger being super gay coded, among other things. As you do, you kind of do. I mean, we grew up in some of the same stomping grounds. So like, similarly, you take the thread of a really hooky premise and then you use it to talk about whatever you want and hang a bunch of stuff off of it. So, but like before we get distracted by Ernest, can you tell us a bit about Man Boy Nice?
Yeah, so I've been, handle-wise being called Man Boy Nice for quite a while. There's an inside joke behind it. Some old friends used to joke about writing a play called Boy Play Man Play about the man boy experience. Like it was going to be this very artsy thing. And kind of the joke was about like men wanting to get in on the minority experience, and something about that just was really funny to us. And I've always been a bit of a man boy.
Chappelle would agree.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm sure I'm not the only one who sees lots of shorts of straight male comedians being like, so I had a gay roommate once, and I'm like, you don't have to make that joke. You can talk about things that you like. Anyway, so that's where kind of the name came from. And my brother and I are huge horror nerds. We're political stuff nerds, we're retro nerds. We talk basically every day and have long, in-depth conversations about a variety of topics. And we're also both filmmakers. And I've done lots of kind of other comedic projects over the years. And this was the most like, me focused in terms of like, I'm hosting it. These are long video essays. And the first one is about Freddy's Revenge, the second Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And I found a lot of people had this experience of seeing it when they were younger, then hearing it was like the gay one and being like, what? I didn't even notice anything gay in it. And then seeing it much later and being like, how did I miss everything? It's not just like gay overtones. It's like the whole thing is a metaphor, or that's how it feels now.
Oh my gosh. Or like when your gay friend, I mean, honestly, it took your video because I don't watch Freddy movies to unlock it for me. But similar experience with your gay friend who goes, no, Batman Forever. It's gay, and you're like, oh wait, it clearly is. They're rollerblading around.
Wait a minute. Look at that breastplate Chris O'Donnell's wearing. How could I miss it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
it's the gayest thing I've ever seen.
So we wanted to, analyze the movie, tie in the history, and tie in my own story, and kind of it felt like the perfect kind of melding of all the things I'm interested in this new channel that's going to be kind of long video essays.
It's a perfect fit because you're the spirit of a burned pedophile who haunts dreams, right? As people will know.
Yeah.
We
all know this.
And we met in college.
Yeah. It was funny. We saw each other in the theater department, and he said, "You've been in my nightmares for many years, and it's always been a close call." And I was
my God.
And you were like, "Bitch," and I was like, "That's me. I'm bitch."
Yeah, exactly. Will, do you have anything to add to our project? Since we're talking about it?
No, I mean, I just retro horror, politics, history.
Do you help break the essays, Will? Are you talking through the subject material? It sounds like.
Yeah. Dan and I write these together,
cool. Okay.
and we're basically, it's like made by us, all the credits are us, two people making these basically by ourselves.
You guys wouldn't understand.
I was gonna just say it's nice to have a collaborator that you brothers with. You didn't have to do the blood pack that Michael and I had to do on a Halloween night. Oh God, that's coming up soon. We're gonna have to reblood the blood swing.
It's tough because we do the inside of the knee, and then you lay down and you put your inner knees together and smear the blood around.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot, and that's because it is.
It's a bit much. Yeah,
it's a bit.
Well, yeah, basically, it's a beyond perfect fit. If anyone listening to this doesn't already know your work, but you like the kinds of videos we do, it's more by people. Not the same, but I don't know if that's a compliment or insult, but I'm like, if you like,
we came from the same
in-depth analysis,
like rip off for competitive, same, like if you like us, you'll like them without question. I can say that with full confidence. Yeah.
True.
Like
that is very kind.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, but now let's talk about a real a movie I hadn't seen before, and so to me, I'm just like, it was just a bad movie, just like a normal bad movie.
Nope. Let's tell us about what Ernest Scared Stupid
means to you.
Yeah, well, so
you start. Well,
let me start.
How gay is Ernest? No, Vern. How gay is Vern? That's
Vern.
So
we'll get into what Vern is later.
I think Dan was the one who picked Ernest Scared Stupid out of the options you had, and that makes a lot of sense because when we were growing up, we would go to the video store, VHS tapes. Yes, that's our age range. And there were basically three movies that Daniel would rent each time. One was, it was either Madballs cartoon or a My Pet Monster, the movie, live action.
I know that.
Or Ernest Scared Stupid. And so we have like deep memories of this movie. And like when I hadn't seen it since I was a kid, but I remembered one, the troll, which was great. I remember Eartha Kitt's wild character. I remember a really sad scene with Ernest that like really touched me emotionally. So I was like, wait, there's something really sad that happens in this movie, and it's going to be really painful.
I just watched it, and I don't even know what scene he could be referring.
How dare you, Michael?
Wait, something real happened? Did I fall asleep?
Oh yeah, very very high stakes. And then of course, I remember industrial grade Miak. So that's my connection to this movie.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Authentic. What was it? Barbutin? No, a Bhutanese Miak. I posted, on Blue Sky, we're going to be covering this. And by far the most common response, by which I mean two people said, I'm not that big. I get like 5 responses, but 2 of them were like, Miak. I still call it Miak. I'm like, you call Ernest Miak? I don't know. Please leave me alone. I'm scared. As someone who hadn't seen it before, though, I immediately want to shout out in its credit or to its credit, and then switch over to DVG and ask him the same sort of vibe check. The troll is, as you guys all primed me for, in fact, all the animatronics better than they needed to be for this movie. And I think a lot of people who probably watch this as little kids and as an adult seeing it, I can see why. We're like, my core memory is that the troll was legit scary. Like, he has 2 noses. That's a troll design I've never seen before.
Oh, yeah.
He has like bizarre splicing birth defects.
Gotta smell them kids.
And he screams at you that you're going to pay for the sins of your forefathers. Like,
that's just Ernest canon, though. All these movies do that.
Well, it's our generation's kids shows. You know, there's just different social mores, but at this time in like the 90s, even in kids stuff, you'd say stuff like, your soul will burn in hell. Like, that was okay. And they do some of that. Daniel.
Yeah.
Why did you respond to those 3 movies in particular? Why did Ernest get into the rotation as a kid?
You know, it's weird because I was not like an Ernest kid either, you know, and you could have been. There were many movies to watch in the Ernest verse.
If people don't know, my understanding is that it's like the Geico Gecko. He was a series of local commercials, and the character became so popular that he spun off into film. So
he's a children's show.
Yeah.
And films and weird other TV properties, probably some shows.
He melted
and stuff.
as long as he could.
And I know that because I was
7-8 years. It's good.
I was originally looking for this movie on Tubi just to see if it happened to be on there. And it was like, no, but there's these weird series of Ernest things that you've never seen or heard of before that weren't even the movies. So I was like, this man
he
was prolific. Yeah.
I know he goes to jail. He never met Medea, but it feels like they could.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's reflections I will have later in the discussion, but as a child, I mean, I had very strong memories of this. Of course, the troll, milk. I just remember milk and dairy being heavily involved. I remember that is a big part of the plot. And
you're Milky Boys.
But do you remember the feeling? Like, did you love it and think it was funny, or were you fascinated? What was the feeling around it?
The feeling around it was it made me feel weird. And it also made me feel weird, but it made me, I think it was like one of my gateway horror films in a way, like Gremlins or, you know, some of these kind of like
Tremors.
Yeah, it was one of those because it was, the horror elements of it were much stronger than they kind of should have been, given what the other tone is, which is so fucking wacky. It's hard to explain.
It's the wetness, I think.
What got me was just through osmosis as a comedy writer, of course, no. Hey, Vern, what do you mean? Like, check this out, Vern. Like, as a character, did not know that Jim Varney also did a Robin Williams thing that the movie just expects you to accept, where he's like, now I'm going to break out these 8 other characters I do. And I'm like, what is going? It's like Gallagher coming out and smashing a watermelon. If you didn't know he did that, and you'd be like, why are we doing this now? What is going on?
Yeah, I mean,
but I guess he did like a family. They're like the Clumps, right? There's other characters.
Those are other aspects of his personality.
Well, are they real,
deeply troubled
or is
man.
he a troubled man with dissociative?
No, it's a surrealistic. That's the thing, is that it's a weird surrealistic aside where you just suddenly snap into a universe where there's like commentary from this wide range of other characters that he does. By the way, my favorite character by far of these is the neck brace older woman. Like the older woman.
You're not going to go with the Ottoman Turk warrior?
No.
Yeah. So,
the brown face, you mean?
The yellow face.
Yeah.
He's doing his...
Trolls, is it? That made me wonder, like, did he do a stage show and these were his characters?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
He was popular as a children's TV show, and these were all plus many more.
But it's like Dunham, where you're like, but Ernest, that's the hub of the wheel. That's the one we can't get enough of.
Yeah,
the impressions. Yeah,
America loves Ernest.
America does.
And if you don't remember this element of it, there's a handful of times in this movie where Ernest basically suddenly the coverage of Ernest switches to 5 different characters in outfits with different backgrounds.
POV, close, like almost wide angle.
Because they want you to not confuse the shot with the grammar of the existing scene, so they're specifically shot different. Yeah.
Yes. Often Dutch.
So it's almost like a little Ernest sketch. And it's not the only type of Ernest sketch in the movie, but it's one of the main ones. And I don't know about you guys. I don't think that is an effective part of that movie as an adult.
No, it's not.
Especially the first one where he breaks out and plays Genghis Khan and fully is in yellow face, crazy outfit. And I don't follow even what he's saying. I was like, what? I don't
know what any of them are saying.
I don't know what they're saying or what's happening.
The jokes largely stand up on a writing level as just like dad jokes, I would characterize most of his stuff. With one or two, which I also would say of dad jokes, every 10th joke is like, you're like, that actually is funny. And the actor is good. Like he's putting in as much work as it's like interesting to me to watch this and realize that there's just, you really could just squint and be like, Robin Williams is not funny. He's just a lunatic who I'm troubled for. Or you could slide the other way and go like, Robin Williams is an all-time comedic genius. I feel like this guy is on that same spectrum. It's like he's not trying, and nothing he's doing is so crazy that no one's done it. Like the Marx Brothers did, and now a bizarre interlude, and then everyone on stage freezes and they're like in a separate. So like, but still, just because he's not as renowned as a Robin Williams or anyone, I'm like, he allowed to do that? Or like, does his talent warrant doing multiple characters? Even, especially when you're going to break out and have the kid characters who are grounded in this movie go, wow, Ernest, it sure is weird how we all just accept that you do that sometimes. Like, right.
I like the revisionist history of he was in direct, if you look at the years, they kind of line up. He's direct competition with Jim Carrey, and Jim Carrey just wiped the floor with him.
I was also going to say, I feel like he's an underappreciated link between Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, that whole movement.
He was concurrent.
He was giving so much Jim Carrey.
Like maybe a year or two earlier.
And he's not like,
but not in popularity.
Way worse at it. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's not talented.
The jokes, the writing of the jokes is not great in the movie. I will say
that's his biggest stumbling block.
But the thing that he does with his character that I think works extremely well and I love is just his rapid shift between extreme confidence that where he almost breaks out like an announcer ad salesman voice, and then instantly that like confidence is shattered and he becomes like a vulnerable, scared buffoon. And like that constant shift between those two modes within the Ernest character, even outside of the other like, you know, characters he does, I think works extremely well.
There's a true vulnerability in Jim Varney's portrayal, whereas it took us Cable Guy to realize that Jim Carrey could play like a empathetic role that wasn't just a monster who was just prideful all the time. Jim Varney portrayed Ernest almost from the jump as the dumbest guy in the history of dumb guys, who is slightly endearing because he
nice
means
to
really well
or whatever.
Yeah. Whereas Jim Carrey was like, I'm Ace Ventura, I don't give a shit, I'm just doing my own thing. And apparently, you know,
his beat shifts are very clean. It's hard to deny how clean his like beat shifts are when you're watching it. I think the thing that was very interesting to me is that, you know, we mentioned Jim Carrey, but Jim Carrey was not like, though he played a bunch of characters in Living Color, right? You like, and you knew some of them. It wasn't his entire career wasn't committed in the way Jim Varney's was.
To the one character.
Or
like Adam Sandler would always do a character, but he got to swap characters.
Yes.
Jim Varney's like, I'm writing.
Jim Varney is in the Pee-wee camp or Elvira camp. Mm-hmm. And we kind of think of Elvira as basically a drag queen. And a like kind of a model for what drag queens actually do with their careers is make this persona. And I think he's kind of a drag character ultimately, like which is a sketch character. There's some overlap there, but like he brings his bits to everything. And it's like he had his own industry, the Ernest industry, instead of like being like up for roles. It's like, no, I have my separate Ernest industrial complex where I make money from.
One of the only like characters whose canon story is they're set in Missouri. It all takes place in Missouri. I realized we don't get a lot of Missouri love. Or even fiction in our
he's the redneck hope.
He's the great redneck hope.
Redneck hope.
And I'd characterized it as a bad movie, but sorry, I just want to say, in spite of me calling it a bad movie, actually many elements are quite good. Super delighted to see Eartha Kitt.
Oh yeah, I want to talk more about Eartha Kitt, but because and the duo of Eartha Kitt and Ernest, which I think works extremely well. Those two together play off each other beautifully. But I'm curious. I was watching this movie, and Dan, you were saying that Ernest is essentially doing drag, which he is a drag performance, and he's also, some of his characters are drag, right? And he's also a character who he's like a child. He connects to kids. He has these relationship with kids. If this movie came out today, would there be a right-wing outroar that Ernest is a groomer?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Because I'll dive right in. Or I definitely wrote it down that through modern eyes, you have to look at the generational difference. Like the movie, before establishing that the parents trust him because he has this long-standing relationship with these kids, apparently, which they kind of hint at a few times, you're just dropped in media res into this garbage man has these 12-year-old kids deep in the woods and is teaching them how to use saws and shit. And he's a known klutz who's negligent. He should not be. Where are the parents? Even if he's not a pedophile or anything, he should not be teaching my son to use a saw deep in the woods without my oversight.
I have another take on it, which is that I think Ernest is a sincere, a wonderful guy who is actually very good for the kids, and that's sort of what the story is about, is like reconnecting to that childlike sense of love within you, right?
No,
and that all the adults, like
Forrest Gump's a great guy, but I wouldn't be like, you teach my son to drive.
He puts children in dumpsters is, I think, the main point, Will. But they are the mayor's kids.
His garbage truck runs out of control, and he yells to his dog, who's in the driver's seat, you got to hit the clutch, dog, hit the clutch. And even ignoring the fact that he thinks he can talk to the dog, hitting the clutch would not have averted the disaster that was
he's got bad ideas.
The clutch is not what have done
I'm glad you mentioned that his dog was driving the car. Just because when Rimshot does that, I wrote down in my notes, this dog drives. I wrote those 3 words, and then I stopped, realized what I was looking for inconsistencies in an Ernest film. And I think I actually wept a little bit. I think this podcast might be hell. What are we doing?
Well, I'm going to up that and say, while you were weeping about that, I cried watching Ernest Scared Stupid.
Oh yeah, what was the moment, Will, that you're referring to that's meaningful?
It's probably the same moment that Dan's going to explain right now.
I am a dog owner. I'm obsessed with my dog.
As am I.
And she was with me while I was watching the moment when Rimshot gets turned into a wooden
dog.
Absolutely devastating.
And Ernest was like, I have no reason to go on. And I was with my dog and I started crying.
Yeah, that's true. He has no human love.
And then at the end, when Rimshot came back, and it's the very end of the movie knows that the most important thing is that Ernest gets his dog back.
Rimshot back.
I gotta say, okay, as the canary in the coal mine adult who hadn't seen it, I have to say that never did I doubt for even a second that he wouldn't get his dog back. But this is a lesson to I think storytellers and filmmakers. It's mirror neurons. The sheer amount that everyone in the movie and the team making the movie helped build the moment, it was infectious. I was also very pleased the dog was back. But then I looked at myself like Abe and was like, I knew the dog wasn't going to die. How stupid am I that this works on me?
Well, probably the best structured thing in the whole movie is the dog's storyline. Like the dog is like Rimshot has a well-developed, like good coverage, is like included in all the scenes. But
reaction
yes,
shots.
that too. But like the dog, they track the dog's story and they give it a full
they understand.
arc.
I think because they know Ernest actually is hollow. Like he doesn't. It's like when you go home in Looney Tunes cartoons and get to know Bugs Bunny's routine at home, and you're like, this is kind of weird. Like he's not
mean
a real...
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Yeah.
No, I mean the Looney Tunes where you see him in his
yeah. No, just conceptually. I get it.
But I guess, and I do think it's funny that from the kids. So yeah, to touch on, you guys mentioned that the horror is realer than it needs to be. There's two ways I thought that really manifested. One is obviously when they kill the trolls, they went to the trouble of being like, they don't vanish. They don't Final Fantasy away into a cloud. They become like a burbling, bloody mess of melted flesh on the ground when you pour milk on them. And then the second thing is that getting turned into wood is really depicted as like the statues of the kids seem like they're in pain and shit. They reminded me of the relief behind Al Pacino and Devil's Advocate of all the writhing hellish bodies. And then it's just funny to imagine that from Kenny's own point of view, he like turned to wood and then real again. Yes. And his loved ones have already moved on and are listening to Ernest's cool troll story. And he's like, I was wood a minute ago. You didn't know if I would ever be born again.
His parents are like,
and they're
Ernest,
like, shut
Ernest.
up. Ernest
20 seconds ago, your child was turned into wood.
Yeah, by the time that all the kids come back, I gotta say, everyone in the town has forgotten that we just lost
Ernest's triumph was pretty
moved on to celebrating.
But the kids come back and they're like, oh, the kids are back too.
Oh,
that's nice.
Cool.
Good for them.
I just want to mention one thing that I remembered, by the way. It's a little bit of a backtrack, but about the Ernest. I don't know if there would be a backlash to Ernest, but I will say that just writing wise, the parents seem weirdly unconcerned about Ernest and vaguely unconcerned about Ernest. And there's this one line that really cracked me up, which is when Kenny runs away from his mom and she's like, you have no business hanging out with Ernest. And it was like,
where do you get off?
What do you mean? You're
the parent.
The only concerns about Ernest is one is Ernest being like, oh, it's against regulations to be in this.
Did that make it on my BlackBerry? I didn't get invited to that Ernest block.
You have no business.
And then the parent being like, you have no business. Like
bothering that nice man.
It's kind of unclear what their concern with Ernest is. But as an adult, I do understand it. I'm like, yeah, actually, that's not appropriate.
That's not appropriate for this man.
But I do feel like he also owes something to Pee Wee Herman sort of setting up a world that we accepted at this time, where it's almost like the whole town is like, he's like a Pee Wee Herman type, you know?
Or Michael Jackson.
There are also some sort of...
He's a harmless lunatic.
There's also illusions, though, that he's kind of like the town drunk, even though he doesn't drink. Like, there's like sort of a town...
He's the fix-it shop guy, the garbage man, he works at the dump in various
white
shorts.
trash.
What's he up to now? What hijinks is he into? It's not like... oh, we should stop him he might start a fire. Like, no one has that.
A little
impulse.
Wallace and Gromit.
But gives him a great underdog arc, right? Like, Ernest is like innately an underdog who you're rooting for to triumph.
This movie, credits at least, it took 2 guys to write the story and 2 other guys to write the screenplay. I love the idea of all 4 of them having a celebratory dinner and being like, well, it took all 4 of us all we could muster. But we did it. It's so good, guys. Ernest Scared Stupid.
Well, no, I was actually thinking, I wanted to ask Abe this.
I really couldn't crack the story till you came in with fresh eyes.
I love that version of this. That's great.
I wanted to ask Abe this about, speaking of the filmmaking. I was thinking, and anyone can answer this, but like, I was watching this and thinking, I would have really enjoyed directing this movie. There's oneers in it. They use this wide angle lens on Ernest in his close-ups that like exaggerates his feature. You get to like do an exaggerated version of horror. I mean, there's a scare in this movie that spoilers for the movie Weapons, that's essentially the same scare from the movie Weapons.
Oh my God, that's true.
And
that's true. And I was watching this thinking, wow, this scare is by far the freakiest scare in this movie. Which is the little girl turning over in her bed and being like, wait, the troll is in my bed using an incorrect voice. I forget if he is there, but the voice.
Oh, yeah.
too.
Well, that always, it's interesting because much like, we would do like, well, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles can rip the beating heart out of a robot and oil can spray everywhere. Yeah. I feel like Hunger Games is, the later ones, it becomes more adult, but even in the era where it's more kid-coded and they're soft pedaling the fact that it's about child murder, the thing that always really haunted me was the birds that sing with the voices of, and similar like the Scare Bear and Annihilation, anything that steals and mimics your voice is always... You're like, well, that's a little creepier than it needed to be. Yeah. Like, I agree. In this, when the troll, you're like, oh, well, don't make the troll able to mimic little girls' voices. That's R-rated creep factor in my eyes. That's like something an adult monster should do.
Especially when sorry, go on, Abe.
No. Well, I share what Will was saying in terms of like it would be a lot of fun because it's like everything is a playground. Now, this team, I wouldn't say necessarily utilizes it to the fullest, but there is life there. In fact, at one point, I just wanted to pull this out because this feels like we probably won't ever talk about the formal strategies of an Ernest film ever again. But at one point, Ernest is like, I don't know when to quit. Just ask my 4th grade teacher. And then we cut to a little Ernest at a chalkboard.
He does a Family Guy cutaway, repeat it.
Yeah. Which, it wasn't necessarily always in the zeitgeist or in 91, you know?
Great. Yeah.
But,
she goes,
but
he
I mean,
doesn't know when to quit.
But also Simpsons exists. So when the teacher does that, the teacher's direct camera, which I know we break reality all the time, but I was like, oh shit, Ernest's Scared Stupid has hands when I realized that they're not just doing a flashback, they're doing an interview into the past, which is like, I've never actually seen that. I can't think of a time, that probably is Simpsons did it or something like that, where they were like, oh yeah, let's teleport like the cherub of the camera, like the mind of the camera into the past, and it's as if we're doing a documentary. It was as if
it was in a thought bubble. So instead of being a scene, they turn to camera and go, he was a little shit. It's true. Yeah.
And I was like, that's
interesting.
That's more than enough.
And I had to say also, similar, we've mentioned Gremlins, but I was like, the Trolls did not have to have, the animatronics team obviously has a lot of love for what they do. Because each troll has like a Gremlins, like, oh, that guy's the handsome troll who likes the surfboard. I can't even pull what they're, but you know what I mean? The trolls had coherent designs to the point where you're like, is that a Michael Jackson troll? What's his backstory?
Yeah,
but like,
is this like kind of like Labyrinth with the golem?
They tried hard. I'm just saying, all throughout, no matter how bad the bad parts are, things stand the test of time when everyone tried hard and had fun, and I do think that comes through in this movie. That is in there.
There's definitely effort being put into this. The language of the movie is a live action cartoon is the other thing, where it's like we're doing a live action cartoon. If you think of watching Ernest and realizing you could easily just animate this and it would work the same way. And then about the Trolls, the thing that I really did love, because I honestly think that most people's main thing that they get from Ernest, if they watch it as a kid, is that gateway horror aspect, that it was like, this monster is freaky.
So did he always do that, by the way? Like, are the prison ones scary? Or
no, it's just this. But like the main troll, he, like, there's some comedy related to him, but he's grounded in horror. The whole that like character of the troll is not a part of the bit. He summons not like, hey, darkness. He summons Satan. He says by name, like, the Christian Satan, give me power at the end, and he like hulks out. I'm like, wow, that's pretty hardcore.
He's also buried alive in the opening. And the opening scene is him buried alive. And I mean, I think in terms of the, like, if you're listening to this
devour the humans
and trying to think like what was kind of more scary about this than I remembered. I think for me, the things that I didn't remember that made it a little scary. One, there's a number of jump scares and scenes that are like made to be scary, but they make the troll one fast, strong, like he has a big machete at some point and is trying to like kill Ernest with it. And there's things like that are even stupid. Like Ernest at some point is trying to set up like a 10-foot bear trap to catch this troll
and gets flung into the woods.
What happens with that?
Nothing. It's just a standalone
it's a
thing. But there's something about
it.
I think it launches him into the sky, right?
But there's something about him holding on to this thing and trying to do it where you're like, if this messes up though, Ernest is going to get just dismembered. And so, it is PG ultimately, but there was like the danger factor while you're watching it feels like
a little bit stakes.
Yeah, that felt like there were stakes. And also seeing like this troll is specifically coming after kids. You can't get help from your parents because clearly parents don't believe you. And Kenny's dad sucks.
Oh, the parents are all like barely exist in this weird Muppet Babies way, like we're saying. Yeah. But also you're right. It's interesting that I think that's always a question when you do live action Looney Tunes. That's the brilliance of Itchy and Scratchy. Like that. Because I remember I always thought The Simpsons is so funny. Every joke is so on point. And I finally asked my dad, like now it's obvious, but I was like, why do they think Itchy and Scratchy is funny? Like, why do the Simpsons writers put it in? What is that joke? And he's like, oh, they think it's endlessly funny that we grew up watching Looney Tunes, which are for kids. But when you think about it, Wile E. Coyote is undergoing horrible shit. Like Tom the cat is undergoing horrible shit. And so it makes you realize, anytime you do a live action Looney Tunes, this interesting question is, how violent is it? Because Looney Tunes is actually insanely violent, incredibly violent. So it's just like, how real are the consequences, I guess, is what it boils down to. And in this one, they go as far as like you turn to wood, which is pretty far. And that the trolls turn into puddles of tortured flesh and blood.
Yeah, and
it's pretty gnarly.
And that there's something just really nasty to me. And I this is actually one of the main things that stuck out in my memory was these Brussels sprouty looking pods that the troll is trying to birth its troll
army,
goopy, adult,
dripping,
and they're just disgusting.
Also, the snot level is off the charts in this movie. Way too much snot everywhere.
More snot is necessary.
They had a big snot budget.
Will said that the troll was never funny, and maybe it wasn't intentionally, but the troll did give me my biggest laugh.
Only as he can be funny as a straight man.
Not even milk can stop me now. Oh, huge flex, demon from hell.
By the way, I want to unlock a core memory with y'all based on these sprouts or these eggs at the time that I thought, because I was like, okay, so what are these things? I've never seen these. Because I'm 6 at this time, I think. And my older brother, who's like 5 years older than me, and he swears that he didn't do this, but I know he did because it like was absolutely tantamount to how I experienced horror for the rest of my life, which I was like, look at that horrifying, like gushy thing. And he just turned to me, and I don't know why he said this, but he's like, I'm going to make you eat that, which is hilarious to me for multiple reasons. One, does he think he can like grab
pull
things from
the screen?
But two, then it just gave me the visceral idea of like biting into one of those. And that to me, like, I can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like it's still here. But yeah, the gross out factor, it's like the unique gross out factor of like, the fact that it's kind of natural, it kind of looks like a sprout, but it's goopy, and also there's little squirmy bits, and you're just like, that is uncanny valley, even for a like horror monster. That is uniquely horror.
I think what maybe also made this movie so satisfying as a kid was that while the stakes were raised and it had this like horror vibe, at the end you got to see the kids like in their little like treehouse mega fortress that you wish you had with super soakers. Like there was a little bit of wish fulfillment at the end. Like parents don't believe me, and I get to be the hero. With my friends,
dude. Not only it just occurred to me. Not only are the parents not concerned that the local redneck garbage man is watching their kids in the woods, he literally comes to them and goes, "Hey, I'm telling you, your kids are in danger," and they all go like, "Ernest says crazy things." It's like, do you not believe danger can befall your children? Like, take some interest in the lives that are unfolding.
Yeah, well,
because even the sheriff is like, "That was just a bad dream, Ernest." No, I saw fucking trolls come out of the ground like urukai, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's a crazy dream you had, bud."
That's why I think it's, the movie is really actually, the other thing is this movie is a kid's movie, right? So they design it in a way that I think it is a fun fantasy for a kid. It's like, okay, I've got this like cute girlfriend. If you're looking at it from the main kid's character, right? I've got this cute girlfriend and I've got this like fun older like adult who like will help me build a tree house. I can get take revenge against the bullies.
I was going to say it's the exact kind of bully who's just designed to fall in piles.
And
of
how
dog
about that
shit
gun, huh?
Yeah, the guns, you have these like
6
all
years
this
old, that
apparatus.
cool.
And then also in terms of the fears of kids, it's like, my parents don't believe me, like I want to be, and then you have this heroic, all the kids, they discover that it's milk they save the town and they get celebrated
with a super soaker.
With a
as
super
a kid,
soaker.
You're like, I have a super soaker. Yeah. What if it was effective? Like, what if it actually killed people? That's awesome.
Killing people is awesome.
Yeah, killing people is awesome.
I also love that I think it's because it was a subsidiary of Touchstone, but their production company was called Touchwood Productions.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you can manboy nice something out of that, but
Touchwood Productions.
This technically was made by Touchwood Productions.
This might be a good transition to one of the topics I wanted to talk about, which is that Ernest is kind of sexy sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And I definitely did not pick up on that as a kid.
Shakespearean trained actor as well. Yeah.
Now watching it as an adult, I mean, a lot of times you're repulsed by him because of just what he's saying and doing is so ridiculous. But among his characters are these kind of like debonair hero characters, or he'll find these moments where he's like, "You know what I gotta do now?" I don't know. He's got this kind of like leading man,
or even when he's his own ancestor at the beginning, when he's his own ancestor,
right?
Yeah.
He has these leading man qualities.
Where he's just a normal guy.
And then I at some point I was watching this movie and I was like, I literally searched and I was like, was Jim Varney hot? And I found these pictures and I was like, I think it's not. Maybe, yeah.
It's
maybe
the wide-angle lens that makes you think the wide-angle lens distorts his features. But like, if you shot him with a long lens and I think he would be quite attractive.
He's like a Michael Shannon type.
Yeah, he's not, he's not the best.
I was just turned on. Someone just sent me, I don't know if you guys are Trekkies, but Barclay from TNG and Voyager, Dwight Schultz is like this guy that plays the super nerd who's the one guy constant fuck up in Starfleet.
Mm-hmm.
This is just how Hollywood is, though. But like, if you go look at his actual headshots he auditioned with, he looks like a goddamn GQ model. And it's like, because that's the base level of entry into this club.
Yeah. So
exactly.
Ernest is sexy.
So sure,
I get your point.
Ernest is hot.
The point is that I think that's why they named it Touchwood Productions.
Oh, Touchwood Productions. Yeah. I also really liked his line. I know karate, I know feng shui, I know chow mein. I understand that's offensive through modern eyes, but I do like the last part of that. And I saw Hulkamania 3 times, once in slow-mo. There's some moments where I think he also does like killer deliveries and looks good doing it for sure. Yeah.
And there are a couple really funny or just like
actor choices.
Yeah, there are some funny bits still in it as an adult.
I'll just say this. We covered Monster Squad on this show at the behest of Soren Bowie, who that's like this movie for him. This is so much more entertaining for my money than Monster Squad.
Me and Will have different
Me
and Will have different POVs on that
Fred
movie
Dekker.
slightly, but I really like that movie.
Yeah, that movie rules.
I think that is a great.
But I also have nostalgia goggles.
But I like this movie.
But I think this movie is more fun in certain ways.
It's definitely a romp as opposed to kind of, like a commentary thing,
Although a thing I had against that movie that I also have against this movie, and I'll ask you guys, does it have a message? Because ultimately,
are you kidding me? Okay, sorry.
The solution to defeating Trantor is to dance and be nice and loving towards him, but that makes him die in horrible anguish. So I don't understand if the message is love thy enemy or love thy enemy because that will fucking ruin them, those fuckers. Those are different, inconsistent messages to me.
I do have a take. Mm-hmm. I think it doesn't do this that well. I think overall, if it was going to set up a arc for Ernest, it's that it's in the scene where everyone toward the beginning is like, Ernest, you have to grow up, right? Yeah. And unfortunately, the movie's not really about him trying to grow up after that. But at the end, it ultimately is like, no, his childlike spirit is what he needed all along, which is not really a journey for him because he's not,
he didn't change into that.
He's
not answering a hero's call.
And he's not
just a guy
questioning himself about that quality really the rest of the time. He doesn't like that he's everyone's like, Ernest, you're a fucking idiot, dude.
In fact, his realization is pretty rough where he goes unconditional love. It just kind of comes from
that's
nowhere.
what I was going to bring up.
I love that transition so much. That was one of my favorite when he realizes it and goes and his eyes light up and his smile. Oh my God.
I'm gonna kiss this.
Well, it's just funny because Eartha Kitt
the thing is, Eartha
Yes.
recognizes that unconditional love is the way to defeat the troll. And what's so amazing to me about the difference in time periods is the way the writers navigated her to that realization is she witnesses a mother and child, and get this, 2025 listener, the mom treats the kid like shit, and the kid goes, I love you no matter what, Mom. And Eartha Kitt goes, that's right, unconditional love. Wait,
children are the answer.
Other way around.
Children are the answer.
The kid love. The kid doesn't owe the mom.
That is true. I love that scene, but you are right. The mom, the kid is like, Mom, I'm so tired of you. And she's like, I'm pretty tired of you too. And she's like, sorry, Mom. And the mom's like, oh. It's like, you should have just been like, it's okay. I know you're tired right now.
Wait, so in terms of the message of this movie, I will say that watching this movie, I've told you guys before we hopped on, was this weird breath of fresh air. Part of it is because as a job, working with Some More News and doing politics all the time, there's so much cynicism. We're just awash in irony and cynicism and bad faith that Ernest, the movies of Ernest, his name is Ernest, are extremely earnest. And so there's something in the way that the new Superman movie was a breath of fresh air, sincere, honest, I believe in these sort of big virtues like love and acceptance or whatever. To me, the Eartha Kitt journey of being, a recluse who is angry and shuns Ernest to realizing that his childlike sincerity is actually the answer. There's something very, very sweet about it that I really appreciated actually.
I do. I just feel like we've evolved it even further, which of course, we owe stuff to the past, but it reminded me of Paranorman, but Paranorman's even cleaner. Because they reveal that the troll analog sort of is a wound of trauma that is a shared complicity, and the town overcomes it together and it heals. In this, he's like, I use the power of love to eviscerate my enemy, the troll, which This is just funny to me. It's like a Care Bear stare that fucking blows your head apart.
Yeah, because also we don't learn enough about the troll to learn that he was missing anything, or that he needed love or something. It was kind of just like, oh wait, love, unconditional love. Hey, come over here, Trantor.
He is a demon.
No, I'm saying in the 90s, you were allowed to have kids, bad guys who were just like, yeah, he's a piece of shit from hell. It's good that he died. Happy Love Day.
Yeah,
that was more common for sure.
Yeah, Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
Well, it's the house that Spielberg built, and it's frankly why parents hate Spielberg, because look what he did. He turned all of us against them.
Well, he started shooting the world from a kid's POV, which wasn't really as nice.
No, you can't do that. They have no power. They can't even vote, Michael.
In China, trolls don't even get milk.
They don't even get milk.
Speaking of milk,
okay.
we gotta talk about the plant and ultimate payoff of the milk.
Yeah.
I guess that's a mother's love, because they say it requires unconditional love and a mother's care, and by that they just mean milk, from mammals.
That's riddles,
milk.
baby. Simple
the plants
riddles.
were much more obvious than I remembered.
Yeah,
for sure. Ernest kicks milk at the thing. Yeah, I was a sweet little baby then. So I
falls in a milkshake machine, and you're like, huh.
But from jump, we get two near misses with Coke, or I mean Coke. I was gonna say cocaine, where milk just splashes everywhere, and then we have the ice cream with the hands.
Yeah,
so there's at least the milk payoffs are the first time he shows up, Ernest kicks over their snacks and the milk spills and the troll runs away. Then there's another time with the milkshake in the store. Then there's another time where it's chasing the convenience store. Yeah, and the ice cream. And then there's the ice cream at the end or in the school. There's another time where the troll is chasing him and a milk truck drives by and the troll runs away.
Right. And then the most important one, which is when Eartha Kitt says, "Oh look, I have a book, and it says the troll. Its one weakness is M-I. Oh, this one letter scratched out. K. It must be Miak."
I thought very brilliant. A mink runs by.
Yeah,
exactly. They should have just Rolodexed it, but they just landed on Miak, which is not a real thing.
What is he? What country does he say? Is it Bhutan? Bhutanese?
Bavarian or something?
Miak. Yeah. Okay. I only have one more thing I want to say about this movie, which is I find it very, very funny that because I do remember him from the not show, or I forget, but I have seen some Ernest things, just not this one. And I remember that dude who's always scamming people in the town or trying to get rich quick, he was a recurring character. He was like an Ernest and Friends expanded universe character, if I recall correctly. But his logic to me is so funny from his own point of view, because he sold Ernest a bunch of fake troll fighting equipment because he thinks it's so laughable, the idea that trolls could be real, that he's going to take advantage of this slow guy, right? But then as soon as he's like, no, there really are trolls, he's like, oh, word? And he immediately believes it and starts selling people and really trying to exercise that corner of the market. And then when all the trolls melt, he cries and screams, we're ruined, we're finished, even though he's invested nothing in the enterprise. How is his money tied up in this? We haven't seen him do anything. I rest my case.
Yeah, that's one of those. That's one of the very few weaknesses of this film.
No. You guys are missing. It's pointing out the incoherence of capitalism.
Parasitism that hurts us all. That's right.
Yeah. Well, yes, those guys are just trying to get rich quick. So as soon as there are trolls, they say, we're the TMZ for trolls now. We're going to get footage of this. Yeah. One of the trolls eats the footage. And
he's ruined. And he's like, well, you're only out the cost of that film. That's all you really invested.
I mean, but that's everything to these people. It's the hope.
Well, then take pictures again. Do it again. All right.
One thing I did not remember, speaking of what you said, Will, it's kind of this sweet story for Eartha Kitt's character, but especially at the end when she snuck a few of her own dolls into the tree to be brought back to life. But then there's 2 black kids who are part of her family, presumably, and just 2 random white kids who have no lines, who she also just brought back to life.
Keep in mind that they're Captain Americas now, by which I mean their last memory was a troll turning them to wood 85 years ago.
Yeah,
and the timeline does not work because it's supposed to be like 7 generations ago that this, and they're like,
oh right, and they're like, you're our younger sister,
right?
I mean, to be honest, it's very much giving Eartha Kitt's like siblings were slaves, and these are like the kids of the slave owner.
Or Eartha Kitt lives hundreds of years because she's a witch, maybe.
Maybe we didn't need those kids to be brought back to life, just for the narrative, just for the narrative.
Or I like if she was like, oh, those weren't real kids. Those are just wooden dolls I carved. Like, well, what does that mean? Where did their souls come from?
I don't know. I made a Pinocchio.
Same place as Pinocchio. It's a Pinocchio thing.
That's exactly why I did this experiment. I'm going to try to get some answers now that they're here.
Let's restart the whole mechanism. Let's invite the trolls again, and so I can build more kids for my army.
The final thing that I just want to say about Ernest Scared Stupid is sort of what we started with, which is the gateway horror aspect of it. I think for people of a certain generation, if you're a kid and you saw Ernest Scared Stupid, and you see this horrifying troll, and you see these horror sequences, there are horror sequences with jump scares. This troll is scary. And then go on to become a fan of the horror genre. There's just no way that this movie isn't going to like have some place in your heart for like something that ends up becoming a part of media that you really appreciate.
It's like your horror training wheel.
Yeah, it's like you're popping your horror cherry with this movie.
And hey, directed by John Cherry.
Yes.
Touchwood Productions. Does that not sound like a porno company?
John Cherry is no better than Touchwood Productions.
Yeah.
But
go ahead, please. Final Ernest
Scared Stupid thoughts is that I just want to give a little bit of kudos to the things this movie does surprisingly well. It's shot better than it should be for being an Ernest movie. There's a couple quite well done sequences, like the whole like action scene in the back of the truck where the troll that's like weirdly cinematic.
Yeah, it's Sonnenfeld. They're like, Adam's Family was good.
And there's also a lot of sketch in it, and so I think there is kind of a sketch comedy horror and a little bit of cinema in this movie that it's a very unique feeling of movie. And it still doesn't make me feel great when I watch it, to be honest. But
meaning like Ren and Stimpy, like it feels scary or something?
Yeah, there's something about it where I'm like, this is nasty.
I wrote two notes that I don't know what they mean, but one of them was, it feels like a movie Jeffrey Jones should be in, but he's not.
Yeah.
Does that resonate?
The time.
It has to do with the time period as well. Yeah.
Also, the last note I have is Ernest the inspiration for Dr. Cone? Because I feel like Dr. Cone weirdly could almost exist in the Ernest universe as like the doctor like that Ernest goes to and gets advice from or something.
Like Dr. Spachemin, like he has a shitty doctor.
I can't deny that there are certain similarities between me and Jim Varney. I'm a tall character leading man with,
as you say,
sexy as all get out. The what is it? The redneck hope.
The great redneck
hope. No, but like sketch madness, and there's something I do really connect to about Jim Varney now. I don't think he was specifically the
inspiration
source of Dr. Cone, but he's clearly stuck in my heart, so he may have been without me knowing.
Yeah. I mean, it's the bombastic kind of non sequitur of our past.
Or whoever
that,
you
of course,
yeah.
when
Sorry.
we're regurgitating it and making stuff later in life, you like are pulling from that abyss that you can't even name, like the thing that spurned you, you know, like you're just like, why is my instinct that? Well, it's probably because of stuff like this movie, what you focused on and dwelled on.
Yeah.
But you can't remember it because I did
but
not even remember
the,
Eartha Kitt in this film. I
hats
did not
off,
remember any of this.
Or the part where you're like, he's actually a good performer, or like, you know, developing 8 characters is not easy or anything. That was Kids in the Hall for me, for sure, were the guys that made me. But I could see being that age and seeing this and being like, I definitely would have had a similar like, no, but strip away that the jokes are bad, strip away that like it's bad. And he's doing something very cool, which is essentially a one-man show. And I love one-man shows, and they're very fun. And something has to make you aware of them for the first time. Oh, you can be the whole family? That's pretty crazy.
Right.
I think my favorite part of
that's very indulgent.
What I love about this movie is also it sets really the tone. Like it knows what it is, and you're walking into an Ernest film, you probably know what it is. But just to make it clear to everyone, they put that credit sequence where it's just like stock old movie footage with spooky stuff. And then you can tell that like the director is just like, all right, Jim, give me the mouth.
Do your thing. Do your magic, Jim.
I
Give me the other one with the mouth.
Seriously thinking so much about the direction of that opening scene with Jim Varney, where it's just like, basically he's just gonna stand with a green light on his face in front of a black
green
studio,
or red,
or red, and it's just like, I'm just gonna mug for the camera.
It's clowning. Like our show, Agents of Cracked. I had this watching that. I was like Abe will, or you know,
I remember
my
doing
character
like
Michael
reaction rolls
on that show would for sure have a concrete limited number of faces that would make sense for that character to do. Like there is an art and a math to that opening thing that Jim Varney's doing. He's like, these are the 9 stupid things that Ernest does, and like he's distilled them. He knows what he's about.
I remember we would do stuff like we would do, all right, reaction reel, because we had to be so efficient that sometimes we would just shoot at the end of like the scene is done. We've gotten both sides, but we're on Michael or we're on, you know, Daniel or whatever. Just give me a reaction reel. Just give me a bunch of instanced moments that you can think of. And maybe we'll find it funny in editing. And during those times, we would always talk about maybe when Michael should like not understand what's quite happening, like be confused by something. And then we'd put it in a spot later and be like, that's what Michael's confused by. This is just literally like, let's just let you vamp. And we're going to cut together your face.
He Rolodexed the 8 faces that Ernest does. And they're like, that's our credits, dog.
There we go, baby.
With a surprisingly decent opening theme by
the score is
there's occasionally good songs or good tracks in this, and a few very good locations in this movie. Actually,
very good ones.
A few very good locations
too.
We're talking about how the locations are low key, subtly better than you'd think they would be. And Ernest scared stupid, so I'm going to wrap the episode up now.
All right, Dad.
Can we give a little? Are you guys got anything you can tease as far as even what movies or properties you're targeting next on Man Boy Nice, or a hint at the take, however far you want to tease us?
Yeah, we have a new video coming out hopefully next week, and it is about the
Halloween
first
week.
Yes, exactly, and it's the first in a probably just two part series about the wokest horror movies from the 1980s. And we're talking about parents, the stuff they live, and society, if you know. So basically
just movies that hold up.
That too.
Yeah.
That too.
And
I think Society's message holds up better than the craftsmanship of the movie, but this is 4 whole separate conversations. So.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
so it's a fun
in-depth
thing about that
video. You know, we'll use it as a way to like dissect the history of that era and how it all of the politics of the 80s and how it connects to
sexuality
today.
in slasher films. I'm sure you're going to cover like Friday the 13th and all that kind of stuff. How that, or retroactively, how that was like setting the stage to all these reactions later. Because it became a kind of sex positive horror, like the genre became kind of sex positive in a strange way, despite its roots being thoroughly like, let's exploit as much as we can.
Yeah, this next one's about kind of specifically about kind of critiques of capitalism, but I'm excited because every episode seems to be like a very fun, different topic for us to discuss.
That's great stuff.
So check out Man Boy Nice
this
on
gives
YouTube.
you the bump. Yeah. Hey, Beanios, go over there. Man Boy Nice,
you small,
YouTube.
tiny
You
little beans. You little baby beanies.
I just want to do our little plug just because this will be coming out fairly recently after this recording, just to let everyone know on the free feed, if you haven't caught the update from our Patreon, we are upping a tier, basically making it such that if you pay us $15 a month, you will get 4 more pieces of content, which will be basically more frame rates. We're going to have more videos from Swaim, as well as a new show called Beanstalk, which is Adam, myself, and Michael answering your questions, talking about life. It's our basically loose horse shit show. But that is something that is available to you, and we encourage you because you're going to get like a third more content through that. But of course, nothing will really change for the rest of y'all.
Yes, our
please stop
tier
by.
We'll now have stuff on it. And also, aforementioned Cody Johnston of Some More News and I will be going through Battlestar Galactica.
Oh,
that will be our
I
first
can't wait
TV-based framework, or frame rate. So do that. Patreon.com/smallbeans is the place for that. Michael, you got anything else?
Nope, just a crying baby. Better go pour milk on this sucker.
All right. Well, sayonara, snotwads.
Talk to you later, booger breath. Booger lips.
Squid lips.
By the way, Vern is not in the movie.
I know Vern.
Vern doesn't exist, right? He's the cameraman.
But he doesn't even get referenced in the movie.
Because he never was... He's not a... In the sequence of ads Ernest comes from, I think Vern was behind the camera. And just referenced.
Is Vern God?
We are all Vern.
Vern.
Vern.